Ayo, surprise. I'm back. Finally. It's been a long time. I didn't have power for 9 days, and I'm gonna tell you guys all about that, my experience, what happened. Before I get into that story, hi there, Corey from the future. I am rudely interrupting my past self. I already made one update video almost 2 weeks ago, but I'm tacking this on at the beginning. There's a lot of info, so I'm going to be reading off of a text document I typed up for the most part. As some of you may know, Comcast got my internet restored on October 9th, and I popped into Blake's stream to say hi.
Oh! Hold up, ladies and gentlemen. I might have a surprise. Edgy, and I don't even know why. I'm pitting that one.
Hello. Does
Ah!
my setup still work? Can you
It
hear me?
does.
I'm back.
He's back from the dead.
Blake and I started planning out how to start getting reactions back on the channel. However, the next morning, Comcast came back and the internet went down again. I talked to one of the truck guys, and he said all of the residential lines needed to be replaced and another crew would come out to do that soon. It ended up taking 11 days. I kept using my extremely slow mobile data to check for the estimated date of restoration, and the date kept getting changed. This wasn't only a problem for me, but for thousands of residents in my city, and people were very upset. I found a couple of Reddit threads and Xfinity forums where people were venting because Comcast wasn't giving a good estimation like the power company did, and they kept pushing back the dates. Recently, Comcast estimated they would have service predominantly restored in my area by the 24th. That would make it almost a month for me without having internet access. I didn't want to take the chance of them pushing back the date again, so I decided to order a Starlink so I could have internet. That's what I'm using right now to upload this video since my service still isn't restored. It arrived today on the 21st of October at around 2:30 p.m. As I'm in my front yard, almost done with setting up the Starlink, not even 30 minutes later, you'll never guess who pulled up in my driveway. That's right, a Comcast van. I talked to the guy and he was really nice and explained what was going on. There's a main line down the street that needs to be fixed before we can have our service restored. He said hopefully that will get done later today or tomorrow, but he doesn't know for sure. His job was to repair and replace the smaller residential lines like the one that was hanging down in my front yard. So he got that done, and I had another short chat with him. I said, I imagine he's catching a lot of flack for Xfinity's poor communication skills, and he said, yeah. Because if you try to call Comcast and get any information, you just end up talking to a robot, or if you do get through to a human, they can't provide you any updates about when things will be fixed. So a lot of people, out of frustration, are taking it out on the workers. But that isn't right, and I could tell how hard he was working, but Comcast as a company sucks. End rant. So hopefully we can get reactions going on the channel and Patreon again very soon. The reason all reaction content went on pause is because I edit most of the videos for the channel. I edit Sunday's reaction, which is Game of Thrones, and will be Bridgerton soon. Blake edits Monday's Vampire Diaries reaction. I edit Tuesday's reaction, which is American Horror Story. I edit Wednesday's reaction, which is Midnight Mass. Thursdays are movie reactions, which we split into parts, and I edit one of them. I edit Friday's Vampire Diaries reaction, and Saturdays are movie reactions as well, which we split into parts, and I edit one of them. And I make every thumbnail for all of the reactions. Plus, I wasn't available to record any new content for the past month, and I'm pretty much on every reaction. My Starlink internet speed isn't the best, and I haven't tried recording any reactions with the guys yet, but I will soon. Hopefully that works well. We will have the channel going at full speed again as soon as we can. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Now back to past me. I wanted to say that after watching Blake stream until dawn last night, him and I had a discussion about how to get things rolling on the channel again in terms of reactions. Of course, a lot of our other members aren't home right now. They evacuated home because of Hurricane Milton. So we have to wait for them to get situated again before we can start recording in full force and get everything back to normal. One more quick thing before I get into my story. I've seen the live streams on the channel and how well they're doing, and I wanted to say thank you guys for supporting us and for all the comments. I've seen the update videos as well. There are a ton of comments asking if I'm okay, and I am okay. I'm safe, and as far as I know, the Florida boys as well, they are all okay and safe, and the latest update I have is that their homes are okay and they will be able to return home. I don't know when they'll have power though, and when we'll be able to resume normal operations. Okay, so with all the updates out the way, now it's time for me to really yap. I did write down some information because there's a lot of it, but for the most part, I'm just going to try to go off the top. So here we go. It was Thursday, September 26th, before the hurricane hit, and I knew about Hurricane Helene because the Florida boys were bracing for it, and I told them to stay safe in our group chat. I did not expect it to hit Georgia. I don't think anybody expected it. Well, where I live anyway, because I don't live on the coast. I live closer to the heart of Georgia, you know, like hundreds of miles inland. So I'm just thinking, you know, we'll get some bad weather stemming from the hurricane. I mean, the worst we usually get is we'll get like a tropical storm to pass over, or maybe like a thunderstorm, some high winds, and the power will usually go out. So that night, I decide we almost have 1,000 members in the Discord, and a lot of people talk in the text chat, but no one really joins the voice chat. And we kind of want to get that started. So I joined the voice chat and say, I'm going to be streaming Phasmophobia if anyone wants to join and chill. And so people start joining. We're in there having a good time. I only anticipated to play for like an hour or two, but you know, like people kept joining in and out, and I wanted to talk to everybody that I could. So I ended up playing until after midnight. It was between 1 and 2 a.m. Igley and Matthews' power had already went out in Florida, but my power was still on. And then my power went out, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm done for the night. So I joined Discord back on my phone, let everyone know my power went out. My phone battery is at like 20 something %. So I don't know my power is going to come back on. I turn the phone off and I go to sleep. And when I wake up in the morning, I notice our power's still out, you know, internet's out, all that's out. So I can't really do anything. So I just sleep more, which I'm not a person who sleeps a lot. So this is a good opportunity for me to catch up on rest. And I don't realize I just slept through a hurricane. I thought I just slept through some bad weather, because after the power went out here, I went outside. I took a picture. It was really dark, but it didn't seem that bad at the moment. I guess that was just the beginning of it. And I managed to sleep through the rest. I don't know how, because when I did eventually go outside and check the damage, there was a lot of it. So my phone is off, and my friends are worrying about me, the Raggedy Boys and my friends who live here in my city, because they know that we got hit by a hurricane, and they know where I live, and they know there are a lot of trees in my yard, including a big oak tree right by my house with a big branch that hangs overhead. So they're thinking something bad could have happened. But eventually I do turn my phone on, and I don't have internet, but I do have unlimited data, thankfully. And I see all the messages. I see the text I got from my friends asking if I'm okay. I tell them I'm okay. And then all my friends who live here in my city tell me that no one here has power and we got hit by a hurricane. So it's already pretty dark on Friday by this time, because I slept for a really long time waiting for the power to come back on, thinking it was just me who got my power knocked out, because it happens here all the time. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll go check it out in the morning. So I just was awake in the dark for a long time. I couldn't really go back to sleep. But eventually on Saturday morning at dawn, I went outside and I assessed the damage. And there were down trees everywhere. First, I'll show pictures from my backyard. This is what it looked like. Considering how many trees I have in my backyard, it really wasn't that bad. But when I started walking down the nearby streets, that's when I noticed all the trees that were in the road and all the trees that were on power lines and all the down power lines, the power lines broken in half. And now I'll put those pictures, and there are a lot of these pictures, so it's probably going to be a slideshow for a few minutes. So later on Saturday, I'm calling around to my friends and family, wondering if they can get to me, because right now I don't have a car. I don't have a way to get anything we need, because unfortunately we're kind of low on groceries and supplies. And the thing is, there were a lot of down trees and lines in the road, so no one could really get out to get to me. So I made a plan that on Sunday morning I would walk to Walmart, which it was a pretty far walk. It's around 4 to 5 miles. So go to sleep. I couldn't sleep well, so I ended up waking up around 4 or 5 a.m. and I had to wait until dawn. And then I made a list of things I was going to get from the store. I told my mom I was going to the store, and then I started walking. And the walk wouldn't have been so bad, but there were a lot of uphill sections. So by the time I finally made it, my legs were dead. And then the kicker is, when I get to Walmart, I'm looking at the store and I see this group of people at the front entrance, and they go all the way from the front entrance around to the side of the store where the parking lot is, around to the back of the store. It's just a line over 100 people long, and I am exhausted. So I walk up to the end of this line, and they were telling me how, the hurricane, we didn't get hit by a tropical storm. We got hit by a hurricane pretty hard, and FEMA is out here offering supplies. We're in a state of emergency. No one has power, and there are lines, hundreds of people long at the supermarkets and at the gas stations, and it takes hours to get anything. So while I was waiting in line, I was telling people, I walked to get there. And the reason I had to walk to get there, because I have people at home that I have to take care of. No one can get to me to give me a ride, and someone has to do it. And after hearing my story, a guy in line offered to give me a ride home. He happened to be a member of our military, so I told him, thank you for your service. And I also told him my plan was to buy a bike so I could ride that back home instead of having to walk again. And he said he had room in the back of his vehicle for the bike and any supplies I might need to get. So I was waiting in line with him. Eventually we got in the store. It was about an hour wait in the line, and we were going around shopping. He was looking for stuff. It was all out of stock. He wanted charcoal. I think he wanted an axe to try to chop some down trees, but there was just a lot of stuff that was not there. I wanted to get a flashlight. There were no flashlights. I did get my bike. I got a helmet, got a pump for the tires. And then I was looking for power banks to charge my phone. I got a regular power bank that had a limited charge in it. And then I got a solar power bank, which I thought I would be able to charge with the sun, but it did not work as well as I anticipated. So after getting all of our stuff, we checked out. I'm riding home with him, and all of a sudden in the car, I find out that I was feeling sick. I guess I pushed myself too hard walking to Walmart. So as much as I was trying to hold it back, I had to ask him to pull over because I thought I was going to yak, and I didn't want to yak in his car. But after he pulled over and I got out the car and got some air, I felt fine again. So I got back in. He gave me a ride home. I gave him my number, and the next day he texted and asked if I was okay, and I told him, yeah, I'm okay. So that was my Sunday, and after that I started riding my bike around, checking on everything, and I started to see more and more power trucks working on lines and poles. And this is my bike right here. And if you're wondering why I don't have a car, because I used to have a car earlier this year, but for me, 2024 has personally been the hardest year of my life. And this hurricane that hit, it may be the cherry on top of everything, but it's not the hardest thing that has happened this year. So I currently don't have a vehicle. I'm hoping to get one in the near future. And Comcast has been out here doing maintenance all day, so my internet's been going in and out. Right now it's out. I hope when we get back to recording reactions that my internet doesn't go out, because that's going to make it very hard to actually get things recorded, but we'll see. I know in the state of Georgia there were thousands and thousands of damaged power lines, but the hurricane hit more than Georgia. You know, it hit Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, and my heart goes out to anyone who was affected by this hurricane. Where I live, no one had ever experienced anything like this. Even people much older than me that I talked to who have been living here, it's just never seen, because like I said, I don't live on the coast, which is usually where you're experiencing the hurricane, well, the storm surge from the hurricane and the hurricane force winds. The thing with Helene is that it was traveling so fast across the land that it was actually able to reach us closer to the heart of Georgia, because I know it affected Atlanta as well, and I live about an hour and a half away from Atlanta. And now, as I'm getting my power and internet back on, Kojo, Igley, and Matthew had to leave their homes for the next hurricane that was coming, and it's just been a crazy hurricane season, and I hope not to see anyone like it ever again. But I know every year there are going to be new hurricanes, and it's just forces of nature. You can't control them. All you can do is when you get knocked down, you just got to get back up and rebuild, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing at the Raggedy Pack, and that's a good motto for life. Just get back up, keep going, look forward. Later in the week, on Thursday, my family was able to get out to me and give me a ride. So I went and bought a generator, because I wasn't sure when we were going to have power back, because the estimated restoration date kept getting pushed around. So I was able to use that generator on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to power the air conditioner, the refrigerator, and so we could charge our phones. And then on Sunday night, that is when the power came back on, and still didn't have internet, but I finally got that back on yesterday on the 9th, and I popped into Blake's stream on Until Dawn as a surprise. And here we are now, the next day, I'm recording this video. One last thing I'll mention before I end the video is that I want to get into streaming on the channel as well. There's some games that I've wanted to play. I was talking to Igley about on the phone when I didn't have power that I really want to play Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, because those games are classics and they're both really fun. I want to play Spider-Man 2 on PS5, because I played the first one on the channel a long time ago, back when the channel was just getting started. So I definitely need to play the sequel for that. And I would like to play Pokemon Legends Arceus because when my power was out and when I got the generator, I was able to charge my Nintendo 3DS that I never have time to play. But I actually had time now, so I started a playthrough of Pokemon X, which I'd never played Generation 6 before, and I really enjoyed it. Didn't beat the game, made it to the 7th gym, I believe, but it kind of gave me the Pokemon bug again, and I want to play more. So yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing you guys more on our reactions and in the comments, and be seeing you soon. Take care.